Colored pencils. Here's a brand new box. Oops! Except for this one, I had a student put this in the electric pencil sharpener. Electric pencil sharpeners eat up the pencil really, really fast. When you're trying to sharpen a colored pencil, please use a hand colored pencil sharpener. You can see there's a point stuck in this one. Please do not get that out yourself. Give it to Mrs. Schnauzer and she can take care of it. Here's a tip. Turn the sharpener and not the pencil, and it won't break on you. Shading is showing value with a colored pencil. Notice how I'm using the side of my tip instead of the top of the tip. This is a lot harder to do and it makes the tip dull quicker. If I use the side of my colored pencil, it covers more space and it kind of keeps it sharp as I'm coloring. Right now I'm pressing hard to show a dark value, and as I go along my box I'm going to lift my pencil up more and more to make the value lighter. There's a lot of different techniques you can use when you're drawing, not just with colored pencil but with marker too. One is called stippling, and stippling is just using a lot of tiny little dots. Now I could make a whole picture out of tiny dots, kind of like Georges Seurat does. Almost like pixels make a picture on a digital image. Now stippling takes a long time. You gotta be patient for this technique. Don't worry about filling up the whole box. Closer together the dots are, the darker the color appears. The further apart the dots are, the lighter the color appears. Hatching is the next technique. A lot of comic book artists use hatching and cross-hatching. Hatching is shading or coloring in an area using your line all in one direction. Notice that I put my lines close together, basically touching to make it darker, and the further apart my lines were, the lighter the color is. Also, I'm pressing a little lighter. Cross-hatching is using line going in one direction. I'm going to cross my lines on a diagonal just like that, and it makes it look darker. So my lines are closer together and they're crossing each other to make it darker. Scumbling is scribbling, except it's controlled scribbling, a lot of small scribbles. The further apart the scribbles are, the lighter the color looks, or the lighter the value is, and the closer together the scribbles are, the darker the color looks. This works good if you want to create a texture of something fuzzy. Next we can blend. Blending is putting more than one color together. By slightly overlapping them, I blended these three colors. They're all very similar to each other. Pressing a little darker. Blending my dark blue into my light blue. Notice how I overlapped? I didn't just start it right next to it. I'm overlapping a little bit. And then my light blue into my teal blue. In the middle somewhere, overlapping a little bit. So there's blending. Going from one color into another. Or I can blend color by just going right over top and seeing what color it makes. I can use different techniques if I want. I can cross-hatch by going in the opposite direction when I'm blending. Now that's starting just to look like red. I'm mixing red and green together. When I'm using paint for this, it ends up making a neutral color or a gray color. It's kind of already starting to look grayish, but it's never gonna mix completely because it's not liquid, but it does sure make an interesting color. Experiment with mixing your colors. Try blending one color into another or try blending two colors together.